Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
A London council has moved towards a ban on anti-abortion protests outside a Mary Stopes clinic in the borough. Ealing Council voted unanimously in favour of a motion to protect the rights of individuals from harassment and intimidation when accessing abortion services. The move could pave the way for a public spaces protection order following a public consultation. Pro-life campaigners say they will oppose the move, arguing that it suppresses freedom of speech. Earlier this year, the Labour MP for Ealing raised the issue in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, on a daily basis, women face intimidation at their entrance to the Mattock Lane Mary Stopes pregnancy clinic from protesters who weaponised rosary beads and gruesome images of fetuses. The police say that existing public order legislation is insufficient to keep the pavement a safe space. So can we have a statement from the government on establishing buffer zones so that women can be protected in their hour of need, as the group Sister Supporter advocates?
I think any situation that involves balancing the right of people to assemble and demonstrate peacefully and the right of other people to go about their lawful business, these are matters where inevitably there will have to be local police judgment of some sort.
David Liddington ending that report there, and Rupert Huck joins us now. Also with us is Claire McCulloch, the founder of the Good Counsel Network, which organises the protest in Ealing. Welcome to both of you. Rupert, do you believe in free speech?
Of course I do.
Right, so why can't Claire and her colleagues protest peacefully outside these clinics?
I mean, but what I don't agree with is obstructing the path of women who want to access NHS provided, legally available for the past 50 years in this country healthcare. So I think they're two separate things.
Right, I mean, abortion has been legal in this country. What gives you the right to protest and in some cases intimidate women who are already grappling with a difficult decision?
I don't agree that we intimidate women. We're not there to protest, we're there to offer help and support. We have a public act of witness where we pray and, we want the end of abortion, that's true, but the actual approach to women is offering one leaflet to a woman going in which lists help and support that she can claim during the pregnancy. Hundreds of women have accepted this help because they felt they had no alternative. I think that women going into abortion centres deserve the right to have a real choice.
What do you say, Rebecca?
I mean, by then they've made the decision, and it's absolutely right that it's a very difficult decision to make. But, I mean, this is, if you want to protest about this, I think you take your protest to the appropriate place. You can do that at Speaker's Corner. You can do it outside the House of Commons. That is where legislators are who can change the law. But to pick on defenceless women, it just seems, completely inappropriate. And also the literature has been filleted. There's a lot of mistruths in there as well.
Right. I mean, what is the aim of what you're doing? You say you want to help and you want to offer support. You're not wanting to change the law, then?
Of course, I believe that abortion shouldn't be legal. I've never pretended otherwise.
Wouldn't it be better to go to legislators to do that?
Yeah. I'm not outside Ealing to change the law. I'm outside Ealing to offer help and support to women.
Even to women who haven't necessarily asked for your support?
Offering a woman a leaflet isn't forcing it on her. If she doesn't take the leaflet, that's fine. Can I just say, I mean, intimidation has been mentioned a lot.
Yes.
Mary Stopes have 2 cameras trained on us all the time we're there. There must be thousands of hours of footage of this intimidation. Put it all on the table. I'd like to see some of the footage of Sister Supporter outside the clinics, which Rupert hasn't seen.
Is it that intimidating to offer leaflets?
There's a logbook that is kept by the clinic, and I went through the barrage. I mean, the pavement has become impassable there, and the road that it is...
That's not true.
It's a popular...
Put forward the video evidence. There's 2 cameras trained on us all the time.
And also the emails I receive from constituents say that it's become an unpleasant place to pass because the pavement is lined with fetus dolls,
it isn't.
Grossly inaccurate pictures that are designed to offend, disturb, cause anxiety, vexatious, that kind of thing. And the sole aim is to stop these women having terminations.
And you deny all that?
I deny all that. And what's more, I would say, if
Claire.
we don't want these protests on the clinic, can you tell me why the group that you have nurtured and fostered in every way, Sister Supporter, have got 50 people interested in going there tomorrow to block us? Is it better for a woman to come out and see 50 people standing there? You are supporting and encouraging this. This protest has become a problem in Ealing. We've been there for 23 years.
You have
become
been
a
there
problem
for 23 years.
since
I've
50
been in Ealing
people
for 45 years.
turning up on a Saturday.
People swerve to avoid that street. So it's a thoroughfare. On that road, there's a children's prep school, there's an Amdram theatre, and there's a park that's just by the gates to a popular park. I'm a mum myself. I've never had to use these services. But, you know, taking my ones to their theatre club, it's difficult to explain what is that, who are those people, mummy? And constituents tell me they swerve to avoid that. They take the long way round. Women should be able to go about their daily routines without fear. If we feel like that just as residents, imagine what's going through those women's minds.
Claire, have you got evidence that you are actually changing people's minds, or that women that you have either talked to on their way in, or maybe they don't stop to talk to you, are persuaded to get help?
We have evidence that hundreds of women have accepted this help. We're housing about 40 women now in different ways, either housing them directly or helping them pay rent. I've invited Rupa on Twitter to meet these women. She has not responded. Let's make a date for that, Rupa.
So, I mean, again, the tweets, yes? This is precisely the thing. If you're a woman, you speak out on these things. So I've been doing this since before I was an MP. In 2014, I remember it was another group. So Claire is saying that her group is blameless, but there's several of these. There's one called Abort 67. They have unfurled big banners of these wildly inaccurate pictures. So they know that outside my office. So again, if you speak out, you get all these tweets saying you murder babies or whatever.
I thought it was all right to witness in other places, just not outside the abortion.
Well, look, that's a slight. No, I didn't say that. If you'll allow me.
Don't talk over each other because people can't. People can't hear.
There's several groups who have different tactics. There's one called 40 Days for Life, and people just find that they're an unwelcome incursion on our close-knit, multicultural,
Is there a different forum you could do this in and perform this service for women who, I'm sure, some of them won't have the money to access housing or expert advice on these sorts of things? Is it the right place to mark these issues in the way that you do, just as women are going into these clinics for these sorts of procedures?
We make approaches to these women in lots of ways and reach women in lots of ways. Last year, the CQC found, and you'll never hear Rupa saying this, that Mary Stopes are behaving wrongly in so many ways, including letting a woman with learning disabilities go through an abortion without properly giving consent. The CQC examiners had to intervene. While that kind of behaviour is going on in the clinic, yes, we do have to be outside. We're seeing victims of domestic violence, people under pressure from families, people with nowhere to live, going into Mary Stopes and being offered no alternatives. Yes, it is very important that one person, just one person, approaches a woman, offers her a leaflet. If she doesn't accept it, she doesn't accept it. But I do agree that 50 members of Sister Supporters should not be there tomorrow. Yes,
well, I mean,
I agree.
I would like to keep the pavement a safe space and not have these people in your face from whatever side.
Right.
I mean,
should there be safer spaces, Claire Fox, so that women who have made this decision, and it's a difficult decision for most women, can actually get into the clinic unhindered?
I've had so many rows about this because I change my mind all the time.
Oh.
So I think that women making private medical arrangements to go into a clinic, having made a decision, should largely be left alone. I don't think it's a free speech issue at all. I've lots of sympathy with a lot of the people who are calling for buffer zones, because I know that there's been a complete targeting of clinics that I think women should be allowed to go in. However, I also am very nervous about councils using public space protection orders to stop policing pavements. You use the phrase safe spaces, something which fills me with horror, because I'm worried about the right to protest, even of people whose views I completely disagree with. And I do, in some ways, have some sympathy with some of what Claire has said, because what I don't want is the council going around saying you're disturbing the peace, or you're bringing certain disrepute, or you're upsetting or disturbing women. I think it puts women into a victim role as well. So I'm nervous about that. And there is also some truth that what's happened is there's now so many counter demonstrations. You don't even know what you're clearing the pavement of.
So
to be fair to the anti-abortion crowd, they are being a bit targeted in this one.
Just one small point here. I'm very wary of someone saying we are not intimidating X. And the idea that intimidation, nature of intimidation, is for the judgment of the person who is being accused of intimidation. Intimidation is, I would like to hear. I'd have more confidence in that assertion if it was being said by the people who are notionally being intimidated, not the people doing the intimidation.
Right, and presumably you've spoken to the people again who are involved.
I mean, even the people who work there can't get to work, but the people on the other side of it, what's often said is that there hasn't been any sort of legal process in over 3 decades when they've been there. But that's because for women it's a difficult enough process to undergo this procedure, and then if you want to bring a prosecution, you've got to relive all the horror and you've got to have statements and stuff. The police say to me as well which is what I was saying in the House, that public order law needs strengthening.
Right,
it's so
but
vague
does it? I mean, Claire's raised this issue as to whether that law does need strengthening and whether these buffer zones should be the councils. And is that really fair?
I personally think that we need a more permanent sort of nationwide solution, because I've had colleagues from all over the country, Doncaster, Portsmouth. This is not just an Ealing thing. So this council motion, it's brilliant, it's a good start, but it's not going to be enough.
If women said to you, we would rather you weren't here, we're upset by your presence, you're reminding us of the decision that we've made, even if we're not completely happy with it, would you take notice of that?
I would take notice of it, but I can't go away when I have other women. You know, it's all right talking here as well-off, well-heeled people with roofs over your head. The women we're helping are illegal immigrants. They're women who have no one to turn to.
Then.
It isn't another issue. If they're going into Mary Stopes saying, I've got nowhere to go tonight, I'll finish,
let Claire finish.
I'm going into this centre, you know, I want to have an abortion because I've got nowhere to live, and Mary Stopes have got nothing to offer them. Sure. You must know that women who are illegal cannot access domestic violence
My question,
services,
because well-heeled women, to use your phrase, can also make it very difficult for them to make a decision about having an abortion. But in terms of being asked to leave, would you leave if women asked you to go?
Not while there are women there who don't have any alternatives except the help that we're offering. It's all right to laugh, but, you know, come and meet these women. Rupa hasn't agreed to meet anyone, you'll notice.
I've been
You've
there
talked
for 45
about
years.
People, you know, why don't you want to meet the women who have changed their mind? That's part of the argument.
Just finally, does it become a matter for the police? If this is going to escalate and there are going to be counter-demonstrations and protests outside, does it become a matter for the police?
These women are caught in the crossfire, and the police I speak to every Saturday. I mean, nothing is changing overnight as a result of this decision, but it was, you know, one that even people who virulently campaigned against me in the election, we had a nearly unanimous vote. I think there were 2 abstentions out of 61 councillors. So it's not left-right. Usually when I'm on this programme we have a Conservative. It's about right and wrong.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. But
no
Claire
one
McCulloch
has showed us this evidence to answer.
Well, that's something you can take up with Rupa Huck and discuss after the programme. But thank you both for coming on.
I've been getting away with it